My world shattered the day I discovered my wife's betrayal. Even though I offered her a chance to rebuild our marriage under strict conditions, I now wrestle with the choice of loosening those restrictions or finally accepting that trust is permanently broken and moving forward without her. A close friend confided that if trust could never be restored, then divorce might be the only real solution. I'm 30, she's 31, and we've built 5 years of life together. But last year, she destroyed my trust during a night out with someone from her social circle. Normally, she would return home from her outings around midnight. But that night, she stumbled in at 5 a.m., drunk, distant, and withdrawn. She barely spoke to me for days. When I pressed her relentlessly for answers, the truth finally came out, and it shattered me completely. I'd always felt uneasy about her late nights at bars and clubs, especially since that man was often with her group. Still, I never had a reason to truly doubt her loyalty, until then. Heartbroken, I packed a bag and walked out that night. She begged me to stay, but I needed distance. For a few days, I stayed at a friend's place, trying to breathe again, before I agreed to meet and talk. When we finally sat down, she expressed deep regret. She swore it would never happen again and promised to do whatever it took to repair our connection. Against my instincts, I decided to give her another chance, but only under strict conditions. She had to cut all contact with the man she cheated with, give me full access to her phone and computer, and avoid bars or clubs unless I was with her. Without hesitation, she agreed. Over time, she even distanced herself from her entire friend group because of their ties to him. I never demanded she abandon them, but she admitted it was too painful to remain connected while trying to avoid him. For my part, I haven't checked her devices, and while I've joined her on outings when possible, bars and clubs have never been my scene. Yet, despite her compliance, our marriage now feels hollow. I've thought about loosening the restrictions, but the wound of her betrayal still lingers. When I confided in a friend, his advice was blunt: if you can't trust her again, end the marriage. His words have stayed with me. I still love her, but the joy we once shared has faded. She insists she's happy with me, but I can see her spark is gone. 3 weeks later, after sharing my story, I was flooded with insights from people who had been through similar situations. The responses were overwhelming, but also deeply valuable. To clarify, before her betrayal, our relationship had been full of life. We thrived on outdoor adventures, hiking, camping, rock climbing, and traveling both locally and internationally. Date nights were a treasured tradition, and our physical intimacy was strong. The only real tension came from her passion for nightlife, which I never enjoyed. I didn't ask her to cut off her entire circle of friends, only the man she betrayed me with. But their loyalty to him created a rift, and eventually she isolated herself completely. Recently, she confessed that her old friends criticized her for refusing to see him, brushing off his actions as just the way he is. Now, our bond feels empty. We've gone on a few hikes and dates, but far less than before. Our intimacy has almost disappeared. She still tries to initiate, but I can't bring myself to engage. In one of our recent talks, she reassured me of her commitment to our marriage and to the rules I had set, but she also admitted that she feels unworthy of asking anything for herself. She fully owns her mistake and its consequences. I suggested couples therapy, and she immediately agreed. I'm willing to try, not because I feel hopeful, but because she has respected my conditions for an entire year. Deep down, though, I doubt I'll ever fully trust her again. If therapy doesn't work, I know I'll have to walk away. One comment from someone struck me deeply. I had never really considered why she cheated. I decided to explore that in therapy. 3 months later, after several attempts to find a therapist who worked for both of us, we finally began the sessions. The conversations have been raw and painful. When I finally asked her why she betrayed me, her answer stunned me. She admitted it wasn't love or even deep attraction. It was curiosity. A friend had confided intimate details about her own encounter with the man, and one night, under the influence of alcohol, my wife gave into temptation. She said regret consumed her the moment she sobered up. Through therapy, I've come to realize that my rules weren't only about rebuilding trust, they were also a way of punishing her. In one particularly raw session, I confessed that she had made my worst fear come true. She cheated with the one man I had always worried about. After many sessions, I had to face the truth. Trust was gone for good, and it was never coming back. That realization became the turning point. We've now decided to divorce. Thankfully, we are both financially stable, and with no children or property to complicate the split, the process is straightforward. In many ways, it feels like our marriage ended long ago.